Let's do it.
Oh, hello again, rabid internet fan base. Welcome back, everybody, to this, the Hemingway Land YouTube channel. Hope everyone's enjoying pumpkin spice season. I know I am. Coming up on the website this week, we got a new property going live in Cibola County. And I know many of you are probably thinking, oh my God, Hemingway, another one? Seriously? There's 32 other counties in the state. There's other states, Hemingway. You can buy somewhere else. I know, guys. Thing of it is that, as you recall, we took a few months off in the acquisitions, and when we queued up the acquisitions pipeline back in March and April, this is where we started buying at. And yes, guys, sometimes it takes this long to buy the property, get it photographed, and get it up on the website. Whatever the case, the property you're going to see this week is it's a really good one. I think you guys are going to like it, particularly the hunters of you out there who keep requesting properties like this, adjacent, semi-adjacent to the National Forest. Additionally, guys, we have this one surveyed and staked, which all of our buyers really seem to appreciate when we get that done. The reasons will become clear when you see the property. Whatever the case, we'll make it quick this week and just say that we will be venturing out of Cibola County in the coming weeks. The acquisitions pipeline from circa May and June. Those properties are going to start to be hitting the website soon, and we've got some good ones coming up in the week ahead, including one with a structure on it. Ooh, people, look forward to that. Anyway, with all that said, I'll let the video editor take over. This one's a much longer segment this week on the property, the specific property. So, yeah, there we go. Thanks in advance for watching, everybody, and take it away, video editor. Here we go, guys. All right, people, going live on the website today, we got a good one. This one sits within 2 miles of one of the premier hunting destinations in the state, namely the 300,000 acres make up the Cibola National Forest. In this region, you are in Game Management Unit 10, home to plenty of trophy-quality elk and mule deer, as well as wild turkey and countless other woodland critters. In addition, guys, if that were not enough, this property sits in very close proximity to thousands of additional acres of public land for you to hike, camp, and explore. And the subject property, the one we're selling today, is located in a region that has no HOA, no annual dues, no covenants, and no restrictions, and sits in Cibola County, which has, as regular viewers of this channel will know, no county-wide zoning, meaning you will be able to develop this property however your little heart desires. This one's 10.6 acres, priced at $35,000, and can be purchased with owner financing for as little as $7,000 down. To learn more, let's go to the map. So, the property we're talking about today is located, like so many of our recent listings, about an hour west of Albuquerque in northwest New Mexico's Cibola County. More specifically, guys, it is situated about 30 minutes southwest of Grants along Highway 53, aka Ice Caves Road, in this forested rural area here. And located in very close proximity are such iconic local attractions as the Bandera Ice Caves, the El Morro National Monument, and, of course, the El Malpais National Monument. Now, there's a lot of things to discuss about this property, so I'm going to try to work my way outward from the land itself. Here goes, guys. So, the subject property is located just north of the highway. It sits in a region that is not part of a formal subdivision. What do I mean by that? Well, it means that when the property was first subdivided, the original landowner or developer took, let's pretend for 2 seconds, these couple hundred acres here, and chop them up into smaller parcels. In most cases, guys, when someone does that, they will usually begin by getting the land graded in some way. They will have a surveyor drop a plat where each child property is partitioned off equally, and they will blade the roads to provide obvious access points as well as legal access, and perhaps room for future utility expansion. Whoever chopped up this land did none of those things. Instead, they took all this land, made some of the parcels 20 acres, made some 10 acres, made a few in between, and if consideration was given to anything at all, it was probably what we will call the contours of the topography. So as an example, guys, if there was an arroyo, they would have subdivided everything around it so it didn't cross through the center of someone's land. Okay, so the point of mentioning all this is that sometimes when you buy land in regions like this, regions that are not part of a formal subdivision, there will be no roads. They may be dirt trails, but who the hell knows if that's an actual legal access road or just some trail that's been carved out by some local yokel dirt biking through the property every weekend. And one of the big gambles when you're buying land like this is ensuring that it does in fact have legal access. Because let's be clear, guys, anyone who would buy land in this region, however delightful that person may be, probably doesn't like strangers crossing their property to get to theirs. They would probably frown upon that with a shotgun. So ensuring that you have legal access is paramount when buying property in a region like this. Fortunately for you guys, we got the property surveyed and staked. We hired the good people at DePauli Engineering and Surveying to go out there and number one, confirm the legal access, and number two, mark the property boundaries. And that means that anyone who purchases this will find survey pins such as these marking the corners of their land, and they will be provided a copy of this plat that was recently created by DePauli. It, of course, also means that they will have a tremendous additional value when purchasing the property because they won't have to pay for it to be done themselves. Next. Alright, so now that we know that this forested lot has legal access, let's talk about what that legal access may be. So, if we come back to the map here, you will see this pathway cutting through the forest labeled as Cien Fuegos Trail. There's one part of it that starts down here along 53 and makes its way north of the land, and then there is this part up here which branches off the forest road and makes its way south to the land. Let's go through these one at a time. So the entrance from the south looks like this. This is the turnoff from the 53. This is the road leading into the region. And this is where that road branches off, and this well-maintained gravel part becomes Dove's Perch Road, veers to the left, and you would instead take this dirt trail to the right, leading out to the property along a path that ends up looking like this. If, however, you were to approach from the north, you would turn off 53 here at Forest Road 50. This road is paved and looks like this. And you would take it about a mile north until you come to this turnoff. Now, should be noted, guys, the photographer kind of turned around and broke the axis here. He's facing south, and this turnoff is on the west side of the road. Based on the other photos, you might think it's on the east side, but if we go back to the map, you will see it is located right about here. Anyway, this is what Cien Fuegos Trail looks like up here, and this is what it looks like as you make your way south to the land. So, obviously the property is accessible from both directions, but you're going to need a larger truck or off-road capable vehicle, whichever way you go. And for the record, guys, our photographer recommended take the northern route in off the forest road. Okay? Now, quick thing I want to address here. Along both of these paths, you are going to encounter gates. This is the one you will see entering from the north, and this is the one you will see entering from the south. Based on our photographer's experience, these gates are more decorative than functional, meaning they are not locked and they do not bar access. Additionally, guys, in rural areas like this, we tend to find that gates like this are meant to, we'll say, keep the horses in and not keep the people out. And to evidence that fact, I will simply point out the sign on this gate which reads, "Keep out," if not a landowner or guest. So if you buy the land, you're a landowner, no one should have a problem with you being there. Okay, next, let's talk about utilities. So, as you can imagine, in a forested region like this, utilities do not extend up and down every road, they do not touch every parcel. And for the most part, they do not exist unless someone has paid to have them extended out to a property they are developing. Earlier, I showed you guys where Cien Fuegos breaks off of Dove's Perch. If you took Dove's Perch a little further north, you would encounter this power pole, which serves a nearby home site you'll see here on Google Maps. That power pole, however, is about a half-mile west of the subject property. Fortunately, for whoever elects to purchase this property, if we come back to the map, we will see that it sits just west of Forest Road 50, which features both residential power lines and underground utilities. Additionally, guys, along Forest Road 50 are a number of very nice home sites that have been developed. One such home site sits right here and is located only 1,200 feet east of the subject property, suggesting, at least to me, that getting power extended to the land may not be as difficult or as expensive as one might imagine. Whatever the case, guys, Continental Divide Electric Co-op is the utility company servicing this region, and they are the people you would have to talk to about extending and connecting power on the land. Now, speaking of developing the property, let's next discuss the terrain. So, as noted, guys, this is a 10.6 acre parcel, which of course is a good chunk of land, and this features a diverse topography from flat cutout areas, perfect for parking, camping, and building. You've got some forested area with these tall ponderosa pines, which of course will provide a lot of privacy. You've got some nice hillsides and rock outcroppings, and overall, just a diverse landscape to explore and develop. And for the record, guys, the property's highest elevation is about 8,000 feet along the northeast boundary, and from there it gradually slopes to about 78-80 at its lowest point along the western boundary. Now, speaking of developing, as I teased at the outset, because this property is not part of a formal subdivision, it has no HOA, no annual dues, and neither covenants nor restrictions are on file with the county. Additionally, Cibola County has no countywide zoning and defers instead to towns and municipalities to make up their own regulations. And of course, because this property is in neither, it means you will have a lot of leeway to develop it however you see fit. Now, a lot of times when you hear no zoning, no restrictions, you'll find a lot of nearby home sites that look like this. That, however, is not the case in this region, where pretty much all of the nearby home sites look pretty respectable. Now, in fact, the home sites we're showing you here are all located within about a mile of the subject property, most of them along the forest road, and all of these should give you a sense of the various ways the property can be developed. I see log cabin homes out here, I see stucco homes, I see A-frames, and I even see things that look like less permanent home sites, but are maybe used instead as seasonal hunting cabins. Point being, guys, in a region like this where you've got no restrictions even on RV usage or minimum square footage, it allows you to develop the land with a lot of unconventional or non-conforming structures, difficult to build or even get permitted elsewhere. Everything from geodesic domes and barn dominiums to tiny homes and shipping containers. Next, water table. So, of course, guys, when it comes to developing the property, you're going to need water, which in most cases means you're going to need to drill a well. Now, I am not an expert on this, and here at Hemingway Land, we defer instead to people who are. So if you have questions about water table or cost or logistics involved in drilling a well in this region, we highly encourage you to reach out to local well drillers, as they will be far more knowledgeable on this topic than we will. All that said, guys, a little bit of common sense goes a long way, and generally speaking, when you see this many developed home sites concentrated in a region this rural, meaning without city water lines, usually means that getting water is pretty affordable. But again, if you're going to move forward with a purchase of this size, you may want to call around and confirm that first. And by the way, guys, in the midst of all this discussion of development, it's important to note that the subject property is, as I mentioned earlier, only about 30 minutes outside Grants and about an hour outside Gallup. Point being, you are not too far from groceries, fast food restaurants, pharmacies, banks, medical services, schools, churches, and even casinos. But more importantly, when it comes to development, building supplies. Grants has an Ace Hardware and a Tractor Supply, and Gallup has a Home Depot. Okay, so with all this out of the way, let's stop burying the headline and talk about the real draw of this property. So if you were to leave the subject property, drive north on Cien Fuegos Trail, and connect to Forest Road 50, how far do you guys think you'd have to drive to get to National Forest? 20 miles? Maybe 10 miles? Guess again, people, because when we pull back on the map just a little, just a scooch, guys, you will see that a mere 2 miles north of the subject property sits your primary access point to the hiking, hunting, and trails of one of the premier hunting destinations in the Southwest, namely the Cibola National Forest. And of course, as we have covered in countless, people too many to count videos, this area is home to trophy quality elk and mule deer, wild turkey, rabbit, squirrel, and countless other forested woodland creatures. And if you're sitting there saying, Hemingway, this sounds good and all, but I mean, how much hunting space do I really have access to? Like a mile, maybe 2 miles tops? Oh, check this out, guys. Because when we pull back on the parcel map further and turn on the federal and state land filter, you will see, ba-boom, all this green stuff on the map, which makes up the miles and miles and miles of ponderosa forests and sandstone canyons you will be able to hunt, hike, and explore when you purchase today's property. Alright, so this is normally the part of the video where I discuss the purchasing process for the property, and of course, as with all of our listings, we have the purchase for cash, pay all at once option here, and the owner financing down payment plus affordable monthly payment option here. As with everything else with this property, however, it is unique and requires a little additional explanation and disclosure. So, goes like this. This property was purchased from someone who purchased it at a tax auction. That tax auction occurred in the last 5 years. In the state of New Mexico, title companies will not insure any property purchased at a tax auction until 7 years have passed. And that means not only that we were not able to purchase title insurance on the land, but it also means you will not be able to either until May 2027. Now, if you are a cash buyer, someone who wants to purchase this property and pay for it right now in full, what that means is that a title company will not be involved, and you will have to pay our company directly via credit card, cashier's check, or wire transfer. It also means that we are, at this time, only willing to provide you with a special warranty deed. Now,
If you buy the property and May 2027 rolls around and you decide you want to purchase title insurance, Hemingway Land will gladly cooperate with you when that time comes. We'll coordinate with the title company, we'll provide whatever documentation they need from us, and we will sign a new warranty deed. Regrettably, however, none of that can occur until then. You can buy it now, but you can't insure it until then. And if you have reservations about paying $35,000 directly to someone on the internet, I completely understand. I don't like to sell properties in this price range without having first acquired title insurance, and I don't like to sell them without that being a viable option for the buyer. That said, for reasons I hope are obvious, I made an exception when it came to this property. I investigated the title history, I was comfortable with it, and I made this exception. And if you do want to purchase this property, it will work the same way as it does with all of our smaller dollar properties. We write the deed, you approve it, we sign it, we notarize it, we mail it off to the county, they record it, and congratulations, you are the new owner, and yes, it's really that easy. Now, if you are a terms buyer, someone who wants to place a down payment, make affordable monthly payments as time goes on, not much will change for you. We're asking for $7,000 down, $500 a month for 78 months, and we are offering 12 months, same as cash. And if that sounds like something you can afford, simply click the Buy Now button, initiate the transaction with $500 down, and set up the recurring $500 monthly payment. We'll get you documentation within 24 hours, and then you can pay the remaining $6,500 balance, which we ask for, within roughly 96 hours. And between now and the time you pay the property off, you'll have a land contract which will demonstrate your equitable interest in the property. And as always, guys, our land contracts contain only prepayment incentives, no prepayment penalties. And if you click this link right here, you can review everything you'll be asked to sign before placing even $1. Now, it should be noted, when we get into this price range, I prefer to run a deal like this through a title company and let a loan servicing company collect the monthly payments. I prefer the buyer have a mortgage and not merely a land contract. That said, again, because of the circumstances surrounding the chain of title on the property and how New Mexico title companies like to work, that cannot be an option until May 2027. When that time comes, we as seller and you as buyer can have a conversation about modifying, we'll say the substance, not the terms, but the substance of the agreement, so you can acquire title insurance and have a formal mortgage on the property. But that's a jump off that bridge when we come to a sort of conversation to have for another day, and at that point, it would be entirely up to you. And by the way, guys, everything I just discussed here can be found down here under the property details section of the listing page under the title info tab. So if it went too fast, any part here in the explanation, feel free to just read over this section here. With all that said, going live on the site next week, we'll be back not in Cibola County, but rather someplace somewhere else in New Mexico with this charming, some would say bucolic, country property. It's got power, it's got paved road access, it's got, I don't know, dangerous gas lines. Tune in next week to learn more. Until such time, have a great 7 days, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you back here in our next video.